I have a theory. You know how Wizard of the Coast and Rosewater explicitly said that the foreboding evil in the background of Shadows of Innistrad wasn't Emrakul, and then, well, it was Emrakul? Right, well, okay. Hear me out. They failed to acknowledge the fact that Minotaurs and Eldrazi share some very similar similarities. I even tweeted Rosewater directly this morning asking about this, and there was simply no reply. You see, Minotaurs have horns. Some small number of Eldrazi also have horns. Cragmaw Butcher is basically Reality Smasher. Is that the name of the card? Is the one that when it attacks it gets +2/+0. Okay, I might have forgotten the name of the card because Minotaur really don't make that much of an impact. But add to that, even more weirdly, is the fact that Griselbrand of all people has horns. You tell me, who looks more like a Minotaur here, Griselbrand or this beefy boy in the art for Didgeridoo? Okay, well it's obviously the big fucker in the art for Didgeridoo, but Griselbrand is probably still a better Minotaur. If he's a Minotaur. Now listen to me, because the things I'm about to tell you will open your mind. Remember, jet fuel cannot melt steel beams. Drink your Pepsi. Let's get woke. Hi, I'm Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet, and I'm the Magic the Gathering content creating equivalent of the cinematic masterpiece that is Masters of the Universe. That's right, the film adaptation of the cartoon He-Man. Oh, it is banging.
Dolph Lundgren as He-Man. Frank Langella as Skeletor.
This week I bring you a hot new brew. While some people are out there comboing off and storming into multiple dragons and dragon storms, getting people talking, I'm just over here, living in the future. I'm putting Eldrazi and Demon Minotaurs into play for Didgeridoo. You bet I fucking did. Now I said that Minotaurs and Eldrazi share some similarities. Well, think of it this way. Wizards of the Coast have a progressive pro-Minotaur agenda, and I'm here to push it. A new world order. Minotaurs were a joke tribe until very recently. They lived for years in tier 5 obscurity, never picked up in tribal wars, and never built in an EDH deck. Pushing for Minotaur representation all began with the first line of Commander products. Zedru was the group hug king, but he wasn't really a Minotaur king. Then Returns of Ravnica block brought us Chase Rare and standard all-star Boris Reckoner. He's a fucking Minotaur wizard. The Theros block was themed around Greek mythology, and therefore a lot of the weak but perfectly acceptable limited cards in it were Minotaurs. They even got a Lord of Swords. Then Amonkhet brought legendary Minotaurs. Then Ixalan brought a Minotaur Planeswalker. There was a strange pushing of Minotaurs as a race, much like they did with Eldrazi during the Eldrazi Summer. And, more importantly, I feel this is heavy-handed, tokenistic, and it's being pushed down our throats. I'm only joking. I'm an MJW, a Minotaur Justice Warrior. The biggest buffs in Minotaurs, however, came in the printing of an inconspicuous little aura called Arcane Adaptation. For the low cost of 3 mana, all your creatures can be Minotaurs. That's the ones in play, in your hand, and elsewhere. Now, I know some of you are going to push those glasses up your noses and say, but Vince, that's arguably a buff for all races. Yes, but no. Not all races have their very own Aether Vial combined with an Elvish Piper. Didgeridoo is a card that has long gone under the radar and seen no competitive play. Not anymore, kids. Didgeridoo is now, without a shadow of a doubt, objectively the most powerful rare in Homelands. Let's make some fucking Minotaurs. The deck, as you can see, is a mono-blue combo deck. I'm using the Show and Tell shell, so we can simply show or tell an Emrakul or Griselbrand into play and see if we can get there. However, this plan is open to being disrupted by counter magic or hand attack by Thoughtseize. What if we can make the combo ever so slightly more resilient to those two angles of attack, and in many ways more consistent at the cost of playing some absolutely terrible magic cards? Not interested? Well, what if I told you that Magic's a game where we should just be trying to play to have fun? Or, in the words of 16-bit Gandhi,
just do it for the meme.
So we have the other way of shooting Minotaurical and Griseltor into play with Didgeridoo. It allows us to do a one-sided show, putting in our Minotaur of choice, in this case either the Eldrazi Space Monster or the Giant Demon of Card Draw. In order to do this, we are playing a playset of Arcane Adaptation to name Minotaur to turn into Minotaurs in our hands, but we're also playing 2 copies of Artificial Evolution, a card that allows us to target a permanent like Didgeridoo and replace all instances of the word Minotaur with the word Demon or Eldrazi respectively, depending on how our hand is looking. Alongside this, we play Soul Lands, Petals, 1 Simian, which I later cut as we just don't need it. Alongside that, we have 10 cantrips, 4 Force of Will, our fatties, and a single copy of both Spell Pierce and Flusterstorm to protect our combos. Our sideboard allows us to fight other combo decks or decks packing counter spells, whilst the ley lines themselves serve double duty of making burn a winnable match and also stopping those pesky hinted turrets from ruining our day. As always, an absolutely huge shout out to my patrons, especially the splicers on screen now. Without their support and kindness, I wouldn't have been able to drop a day in my day job to focus on making videos for your entertainment. If you want to support the channel, make sure you are subscribed, like this video, and make sure you drop me a comment with your favourite bit or ideas for future decks and things you want to see on the channel. You can support directly through Patreon via the links in the description below, or you can do it indirectly by purchasing cards from my sponsors that are coming up on screen now. MTGO traders are quite literally the best site to get your MTGO singles from. They are simple, straightforward, and cheap. Cape Fear Games will help you get the paper singles you need. You can use the discount code on screen now to buy your didgeridoos and support the channel. Without much further ado, let's didgeridoo this. Let's didgeridoo this. I have a strong if unexciting hand. It has 2 secret minotaurs in it and a show and tell, and I even have Force and the Brainstorm to protect the combo. I lead Island and he turn 1 semi-blind names Force of Will with Cabal Therapy. Now usually when an opponent blind names Force, usually when I haven't got a land in play in Legacy, it's a great feeling for me as I avidly play Death and Taxes for the most part. As some of you might know, maybe, I may have mentioned it before a couple of times. He rips Force away and we draw another Ding Dong Emrakul and play our fetch. We keep up Brainstorm for his turn in order to shuffle away one of these 2 fatties, but also to help us hide parts of the combo from his hand disruption. He knows we have the combo in hand, so he will be gunning to dismantle it ASAP before we can reach the critical mass of mana. He casts another Therapy from hand, we Brainstorm and look to hide one of our fatties and this all-important show and tell on top of our deck. He names Grizzlebrand. Good night, sweet Minotaur. He fetches for a plains of a heath and does nothing. I get the impression he might be a therapy build of Dead Guy Ale. Before we get to untap and cast our show and tell, he knows he isn't long for this world and concedes. If that plains is for plowshares, he 100% should have gotten rid of the Emrakul he knows we had. Weird. GG2EZ.
Easy mode engaged.
Some combo decks are a bit silly and a bit of a joke. We have a turn 1 Emrakul here. He needs Force, Caracas, or perhaps a turn 1 Ensnaring Bridge or Bridge off of the show and tell to get out of this pickle. All of which are very specific answers he probably doesn't have. Other outs for him could be here, things that he can get off show and tell, so Oblivion Ring, Fiend Hunter, Palace Jailer, Big Game Hunter, all permanents that can interact with Emrakul where spells can't. He leads with a Giant Arbor telling us that he's actually almost certainly Maverick of some kind. We Petal, Soul Land, cast show and tell, make an Emrakul, he makes a Deathlight Shaman off the show and tell, and then he concedes. Show and tell is obviously a very fair and balanced symmetrical effect, kids. Nothing to see here.
You know the story of the Minotaur in the Labyrinth, this half man, half bull, was often depicted like that, but occasionally was depicted as a large four-legged breast.
In round 2, our opponent starts with a Leyline of the Void in play, so main board Leylines tell me he's either on the deck, Leylines, some form of Enchantress, or perhaps Helm of Obedience combo, or maybe some combination of those 3. I'm looking at a terrible 7 into a pretty terrible 6. Simian is awkward in the deck, but this hand does nothing but dig a little and protect, well, nothing, it doesn't protect anything. We scry, show and tell to the top of the deck, and then I crack my fetch like a fucking idiot. Ugh, show and tell is gone, and now we don't really have much of a game. Ponder finds some hot garbage, and I opt to shuffle that shite away, and we find a Spell Pierce. Opponent leads with a Duress, which strongly hints he's some form of combo deck. He takes Pierce. We draw a land, play a Soul Land and pass. Our opponent plays 2 Petals, no second land and passes. We draw Grizzy B. Thoughtseize hits us and I decide to let it go and not force it in case we draw the didgeridoo. We draw show and tell and we cast it, we make a Grizzlebrand, and he makes a Helm of Obedience. Rip. You see, what Helm does is that it mills you until you hit a creature, and then they get to put that creature into play under their control. If you have a Leyline or Ripstar Graveyard Exiling effect, If you have a Leyline or Ripstar Graveyard Exiling effect in play, it just deletes the opponent's library outright and kills them when they go to draw a card. We go to draw 7 cards and he helms us in response, exiling a whole library. I know when I've been beat. We have a hand with Show, one part of the 3-card combo, Counter Magic and 2 Brainstorms. Against Black Disruption, this hand seems quite good. We pierce his turn 1 Thoughtseize to protect our hand. Brainstorm can hide relevant cards next turn. We play a land and pass and he attempts to resolve Rest in Peace. We Brainstorm, find Force of Will, exile Artificial Evolution to it. See, the card's great, it combos with Force of Will to stop you from dying. And it counters as Rip. End of turn, we Brainstorm to be efficient with our mana and shuffle away cards that don't help us here. Most importantly, we need to ensure that we have 3 mana next turn. We hit the island. We show into an Emrakul. He attempts to helm into one of our Emrakuls with a block with it, although the Annihilator trigger would still get him, and he fails, and he concedes the game. Game 3, he concedes under the might of Monoblue Minotaurs without even playing a single card. He's obviously running scared, and I get it, I understand. Minotaurs are scary. Round 3, we keep a turn 1 Emrakul hand with no protection. Thoughtseize steals away our show and tell. We are wrecked. We use our petal to ponder to dig for a blue source. We find it. Our next card is Show and Tell 2, so we keep it on top. Our opponent taps out for a Bitter Blossom. We untap, cast Show and Tell, and our opponent concedes. Better lucky than good, as they say. In game 2, we have a hand with Didgeridoo, no islands, a petal, and 2 cantrips. I decide to risk it for the proverbial biscuit and say go. Opponent doesn't cast any hand disruption in the opening turn, and we are fucking home free. I am the metaphorical jammy dodger. Fucking hell. Quickly kiss me upon the head, for I am a lucky charm. We draw the second part of the combo that makes Didgeridoo semi-playable. We play the Didgeridoo off of our ancient tomb and use petal to cast ponder. We see Grizzy and a blue source. This is beautiful. We get to evolve our Didgeridoo off of the artificial evolution and the blue source, and then we get to keep Grizzlebrand on top of our library out of the way of hand disruption. We use the freshly drawn petal to artificially evolve our Didgeridoo in his turn, choosing to replace all of the word Minotaur with the word Demon. We do this in its end steps that we could have used the petal to spell pierce if he plays anything particularly game breaking, like perhaps an ensnaring bridge or Liliana of the Veil. We untap, make a land drop, and then do something I never thought I would get to say out loud in a legacy video. We activate Didgeridoo. Now, allow me to play the song of my people. Daddy Minobrand lands and we draw 7 cards. Our opponent casts Diabolic Edict and we draw 7 more cards. Take us to 2 life, because I like to live life on the edge. We force of will the Edict. We also fail to find any more petals to be able to keep up Counter Magic next turn, so we discard another Gump to hand size and pass to him. Our opponent untaps, takes a draw and concedes. That's right kids, we just won with a Minotaur Demon in play. Get wrecked. Round 4, I'm not going to go through the ins and outs of the game, as it pretty much can be described by the cards in this player's bin. He got to resolve a Hint to Rock and 2 Sinkholes, and to polish it all off, like a cherry on top of a particularly brutal cake that ain't got no time for your degenerate shit, an on-board Containment Priest, which is even worse when you consider all my bounce spells on my sideboard, because, you know, steep learning curve and all that, I don't really know what I'm fucking doing, so, whoops. In round 5, we ship a hand of hot garbage and Grizzies away for 6 of all cantrips and none of the mana. In this case, we decide to go to a 5. It has permission, a Russell brand, so we keep it. Better than a 4, I guess? We bottom a land on the scry looking to find cantrips preferably, or just to naturally draw into lands in the combo. Opponent leads with a mountain and we lead with an island. Exciting magic. My opponent, seemingly hearing my faux enthusiasm, decides to seething song out a Chandra Torture Defiance. But on the upside, we just defiantly say nope and pierce it. 2 for 1. Got him. We play an island of pass and he plays a sneak attack. Oh boy. We play adaptive and a petal and we just need to draw Didgeridoo. He makes a world spine worm and we are fucking dead. For those of you that don't know, it hits me for 15 and then it splits into 3 5/5s with trample. I thought I was just actually fully dead and didn't bother going to my draw step, but in reality I should have seen what it was, because if I could make a Grizzly off of Didgeridoo, a block would have kept us alive, I believe. We would have done 5, gain 7 back, which would be 12, take 10, go to 2, and we could have blocked each turn the opponent had no follow-up and killed the worms. Now he probably had a follow-up, but I probably should have played that out. My bad. We keep it perfectly fine if a landlight hand. We ponder and we find the Didgeridoo. Doot doot. We simply have to force this chalice on 1 as it turns off our cantrips and our combo. We exile Brainstorm to it, keeping Artificial Evo for the combo kill. We need a land in the next 2 draws to be able to get there. There it is, delivered as if from a being on high who is looking over us. Or we use ponder, which allowed us to set up our draws because cantrips are too strong. We play the Didgeridoo, also known as the most romantic instrument in the world. He plays a mountain and not a lot else. We evolve our instrument in his end step. We draw a redundant adaptation that we can always use later to turn Grizzlebrand into an Eldrazi in order to be able to use our Didgeridoo to put him into play. Yeah, listen to that sentence one more time and tell me you don't love this deck. We can turn Grizzlebrand into an Eldrazi in order to activate Didgeridoo and put him into play. In order to activate Didgeridoo and put him into play. In order to activate Didgeridoo and put him into play. I'm in love. He plays another soul land and casts nothing, suggesting his hand is chock full of double red spells like Fiery Confluence or Chandra. We crack our petal and activate a didgeridoo in his end step. It's just like activating an Eighth of Isle with 15 counters on it, akin to a huge orgasm. However, it plays a tune like this. Before we get to attack, our opponent concedes. Coward. In game 3 we have a hand with 2 cantrips, shitloads of mana and a tutor and a way to deal with Chalice of the Void, or 3 pesky worm tokens. This is a snap keep, or also known in the professional world as a schneep. That is spelled schneep, S-S-H-N-E-E-P, and best pronounced like some kind of wounded animal. Brad Nelson told me that. Schneep! Schneep! Schneep. A disclaimer, I have never met Brad Nelson and does not endorse the use of the word sneep or this channel. Our opponent leads with a mountain and nothing else. We ponder and find 2/3 of the combo and we draw the Emrakul. He plays a mountain and nothing else. Either his hand is missing some essential fast mana or his hand is full of sideboard cards or a load of fatties ready to show and tell in. We intuition for 3 different cards of which he gets to select one for us to keep. We choose 3 different combo pieces which feels janky, derpy, dirtly and makes me all fuzzy inside. He gives us a didgeridoo which signs his own Minotaur fueled death warrant. He plays no turn 3/4 drop with a soul land in play. I get the suspicion he must have sideboarded cards in hand, perhaps a Fiery Confluence or Shatter effect due to the fact that he happily gave us didgeridoo. We lead with the Arcane Adaptation as he struggles to interact with the enchantment. We did, for a moment, consider keeping up Wipe Away as he might just untap, make a 3rd red source and go to sneak something in. If he does this, Wipe would allow us to at best delay a hit for a turn. Even if a worm hits us in the face, we get to blow the tokens up next turn by casting our Ratchet Bomb off these islands anyway, but that would turn off our Ancient Tombs due to life loss, which would disable the combo until we find a 3rd island and also turns off any drawn fetches. So with all that in mind, I said fuck it, let's have some fucking balls and decide to take the route that wins us the game if he just doesn't have sneak and a threat. He makes no land drops and casts nothing. We brainstorm at end of turn for mana efficiency and find Force of Will and Magical Christmas Land is here. He got Force for any potential sneak attacks out of nowhere on his side, because that would quite literally be a sneak attack. Do you get it? That's quite flavourful, isn't it? He attempts to abrade our precious cultural artifact, so we activate it and play him a song. Yeah. A moment of silence, please, for the didgeridoo that never got a chance, or did get a chance actually, because it made an Emrakul, but I'm just sad. I'm just sad that this didgeridoo died. Rip in peace, sweet instrument. He untaps, takes a draw and concedes. Minotaurical is best call, but wait. Minotaurical rhymes with turn 4 kill. I hope you enjoyed this week's memes and banter and the deck as well. It was a shorter video than last week's, but I hope you enjoyed seeing Minotaur's rip up Legacy with the help of a traditional show and tell shell and some loose definitions on what a Minotaur is. If you like this video and want to see more of this deck or something else in particular, comment below and let me know. I'll read every comment and respond to a large majority of them. If you have nothing you want to say, a simple fuck off John will suffice. I'm going to try and summon him out of his pit once GP Madrid is over and out of the way. Maybe he'll have a spicy brew covered in garbage ready to be put through its paces for us. Otherwise, don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video with your friends and keep up the support, guys. The channel is back to forward momentum and growth, and I can't thank you enough for sticking it out with me. Let's keep having fun and being excellent to one another, and don't forget that I stream at 7 PM GMT every Monday ongoing now. That's Legacy, Modern and all sorts of silly stuff, even some Commander. In the meantime, I do wonder if Napoleon was happy with this week's deck considering what he said last week.
I am never amused with your shit, Vince, you fucking PleasantKenobi.
Fucking hell, Napoleon, no need to be so harsh.